City Chaos, and you're watching Outside the Games with your host, Kevin Livingston.
I would like to welcome everybody to Outside the Games. Thank you so much for coming into our program. Again, this program is for the student athletes to describe their character, their academics, who they are on and off the field. We have a good student athlete here with us today. His name is Elias Sanders, class of 2022. He is GPA is 3.3, working on it even more out of Bethel High School in the state of Washington. Position, he can be used in a lot of different spots, but I know he likes the defensive side of the ball and loves to be a part of that. We'll go into a little bit more further about the position. Elias Sanders, thank you so much for being on our program. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for bringing me here. I love the opportunity.
All right. Well, we get into about family. We start off there because family is so important. It's the foundation of the student athlete. We believe that. Very, very true. How would you define family and why, Elias?
I define family as people who have your back, not just blood relatives, but people who's been there for you since day one, people who are just going to stick with you, people who care about you, genuinely love you and care about you. That's who I define family.
I love that role. I love that definition. That's very important because, again, that's everything to a student athlete. It helps you do what you do in the classroom, off the field, on the field, all that. Talk about the role of your mother. That role is so huge. She plays such an important role in your life, Elias. Describe that role to me and what she does for you as a student athlete.
Man, my mama's my everything. She takes care of me. She loves me. She's there for me no matter what. She's been helping me with schoolwork. She's been helping me with just getting through life. Everything I needed, she's been there for. I really just love and appreciate my mama. That's my everything. That's my why.
Love that. We talk about mentorship because mentors play such a huge role in a student athlete's life. Who are your mentors are? Because they're like the extension of family. Who are they and why are they so helpful?
I feel like one of my mentors are Coach DQ and Coach Quincy. Both of these coaches they're really great mentors. They've experienced what I've experienced when I am young, when they were younger, So they know where I'm coming from. They know a lot of where I'm coming from. And so it's really easy for them to relate to me and, help me get through.
Yeah, especially when a person has gone through and a coach has gone through a lot of difficulty in their life and they see maybe perhaps the struggle that you've seen and that you're going through, or they can really identify that and really work with you and see and pinpoint things that they can really help you with, right?
Yes, sir.
That's beautiful. Well, we get into Bethel High School. Bethel High School in the state of Washington. Elias Sanders, please take Outside the Games through that high school. We're not there, but take us like we are there. Explain what that high school is like and what it means to be part of Bethel High School.
It means a lot to be part of Bethel High School, especially as of right now. They're removing the Braves away from the school and they're making it the Bethel Bears. So it really means a lot to be part of this year's class, especially being the last class of the Braves. It's a really good school. They have really some good academics, some really great teachers there. So, I'm really happy to be a part of that school.
Yeah, I think the thing is too, is that the support you get in that school, and we'll touch on that. You mentioned academics. How's the academic support with a lot of their counselors and some of the ones that talk to you about what is going to be on the next level, getting you ready for college? Take me through how important those academic counselors, and are you working with one?
Yes, I am working with one. Her name is Miss Bonai. She's really good. She knows a lot about the academics. She's been to this school, so she knows everything about it. She really does take care of me when it comes to academics.
And I think the thing is that when you look to that academic advisor, that counselor, what are some things that you are trying to get them to help you with?
I'm trying to help me with is just getting through the day sometimes and getting me through the test days and pre-SAT days and, stuff that's hard, but they know how to get through it because they've been there,
And you could say that really there's homework, there's tests, there's getting ready for the SATs. I mean, there's a lot that goes into the student athlete and prepping them for the next level in college. Talk to me a little bit about the teacher-student. There's the teacher-student relationship. It has its dynamics. There's some teachers I'm sure that you see on a daily basis and that you work with. Well, let's first start off. What is your favorite class in high school?
My favorite class is AP Science.
Ooh, okay. Why so?
Because that teacher, I have a really great relationship with her. Her name is Miss Smith. I have a really outstanding relationship with her. She takes care of me. She's always helped me, especially when it comes to the test. It's just a really great environment to be there, and it's an upper class up there, so I like that.
And really, what is your least favorite class in high school? Because I mean, there's always maybe one class you're just not feeling, but which one is that?
I would say it's Spanish. I don't really like that class.
He doesn't pull any punches. That's great. Um, but yeah, it's again, it's a challenge, and I think that's one of the things as a student athlete you try to fight through. Like if there's something you don't like and it's not working for you, you're not feeling it. So with that language, taking Spanish, you find that a challenge for you. What are some things that you try to do to get through that day, in dealing with that class?
What I do is, when times get tough in that class, I think of my mama. I think if she gets up every single day, she gets up and goes to work, and she can push through it. I know for a fact I can do it. So I just say, let's just get it done. Let's get through it.
We've gone from COVID, when we were dealing with no school, as far as school being online only. Now we're in a situation where school is in class. Let's first of all go back and talk about me what that experience was being on Zoom. Was that tough for you?
It kind of was, because I didn't have much of the teacher help that I needed. I didn't have that in person, help that I needed or wanted. But it was a challenge, and I pushed through it. It was very different.
And with that challenge, I think the thing was looking at the GPA. That's something that you, Elias, have really worked on, the GPA, getting it up to 3.3. It was low at a time, and you were probably struggling with some things. Could you say that Zoom had an impact on that GPA a little bit? I mean, there was something, you take ownership of yourself that you could do better, but a lot of it, you're probably more of a person that likes to be in person with a teacher rather than on a Zoom call and getting it that way online. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I feel like, there's been times, I just wake up, I'd be lazy and I didn't want to do it. So I feel like, in person, it forces you to get out of bed. You have that in person, you can't go to sleep. You're not going to go to sleep. You're going to get this work done. So it was really different.
And is there something you could say that you learned from the Zoom world of how you could improve and get better? Because who knows? We may go back there one day. Who knows? We don't know. But is there something that you could say, okay, you know what? I handled it this way, but I know how to handle it next time.
It teaches me how to adjust to the adjustments. It teaches me how to adjust to things that even when you don't want to do it, you're going to have to do it. That's what that taught me.
Now, I tell you, it had to be, as much as it was frustrating for you and challenging for the teacher, it must have been the same thing. Take me through, as far as when we get to that teacher-student relationship, how important are your teachers to you? What do they mean to you, Elias?
They mean a lot to me because, they're not just teachers in the classroom. They're human beings. They're just like us. They're just trying to teach us what they already know. So it's very important to me. They hold knowledge. They also hold my grades. So, you got to have that good teacher-student relationship with them, no matter what.
As you all would say, student athletes, that's facts. They hold,
Yes,
they
sir.
hold your grades. They control that. I think there's something to be said also, too, is your approach as a student to the teacher. What kind of things have you done to improve the communication with the teacher? There's some things you have to possess in you to help out. So what do you as a student have to do to help the teacher be a successful teacher?
I help my other classmates when they need help. When they teach me, it's not just, it's all, I'm gonna keep it for me. I'm gonna just keep it for myself. When she's helping another student needs help, I'll help them out, or I'll help her out, I'll help her. I'll be her teacher's assistant,
And with your communication with the teacher, how important is that? In what way do you have to communicate to them and show them that you're really interested in the class? What things do you do?
What I do is I communicate them about my assignments. I let them know like where I'm at with it, especially if the due date's coming up. I let them know, hey, I'm here with it. Or, there's assignment due at the end of the day. I'm like, hey, I'm here. I'm just letting you know where I'm at. They're like, okay, keep going.
Now, what is it that the teacher has to possess in order to make you a better student?
What I feel like they have to do is they have to hold the knowledge that I need to know, especially when it comes to AP or Spanish or even English language arts, they have to know the knowledge that I need to know in order for me to get better, which is their job, you know?
How does Elias handle quizzes and tests? I mean, there's preparation that goes into that, study time. You gotta find study time somewhere in your schedule. So what are some things that you do in order to be prepared and make sure that you have the information, you know it, you can comprehend it, and then be ready for that test?
What I do is, I do study. Right after the day I know I'm getting a test, I stay after before practice and everything. I let my coaches know. I said, hey, I'm gonna be here studying the test real quick, so I make sure I don't fail it. And I study that test. I get at least 30 to 25 minutes in of just, going over what they want me to do, what the questions are asking, and make sure I get that done before I go to practice.
Is there anything that you find challenging when test taking?
Ooh, no, sir. I don't think I do. No, sir, I don't.
Now, looking at the fact that the challenges that you have, there's some student athlete challenges. You have a lot on your plate, Elias. I mean, I'm just thinking of family time with your mom, your friends. Okay, there's the social time, and then you look at practice, film. I'm not leaving academics out. Academics, studying for tests, communicating with your teachers. How do you handle all of that? What are some challenges you face in trying to manage all of that on your plate?
Sometimes I just overthink it, and a lot gets to my head, and I get overwhelmed. And sometimes I just sit and pray, and it gets me through that. And that's just what I have to do.
Is Elias Sanders a procrastinator?
No, no, he is not. No, I have to get it done right then and there. I can't just sit there and think, oh, I'll do it later. I can't do that, because in the situation, it's still gonna be there when you get back. So just do it right then and there.
I'll tell you, we have Elias Sanders from Bethel High School, GPA 3.3. He's quite a football player, plays football for them. Class of 2022.
It's great to be a part of such a elite group of guys. I'm reinventing my own game on the simple fact that I hate to be complacent. What I love about Theragun is it's so underrated. It makes it easy on my schedule, because I can do it at any time of the day. What inspires me is honestly you being someone that kids admire and draw inspiration from. I put myself in their shoes when I was a kid. And it's awesome to be able to carry that torch. It just puts a great feeling when you're doing the right things and you're doing the right things for the right reasons. Theragun has allowed me to reinvent my recovery. I'm Paul George. How do you see you?
Back here with Elias Sanders. He's defensive end, defensive tackle, plays on the defensive side of the ball at the Bethel. Was Braves, gonna be Bears. So in the WIAA and Washington, state of Washington, 3.3 GPA, class of 2022. Elias, we can talk about the tools you need in order to manage what you got going on. What are some tools you use to help you keep organized so you can get everything done that you need to?
Some of the tools I use my mentors. I text them sometimes, and I'd be like, hey, I'm struggling with this. What do I do? They text me, they'd be like, do this, and do this. I was like, all right, thank you. That's my tool. My tools in my back pocket,
Yeah, the phone. The phone is something. What do you use on the phone? And it's helpful for other student athletes. They're trying to figure things out. But are you a visual person? And does the phone come? How does the phone work for you? Go into more detail about that.
The phone really helps for me. It helps me with recruiting, with keeping in contact with people, with keeping my homework in check. I have my grades, my stuff on my phone. I have my GPA on my phone, so I can keep on track on what I'm doing and making sure I'm getting everything done.
Kind of like this checklist mentality, right? You have an assignment, you check it off, you got it done, and you can kind of see that visually that you're getting those things done. Do you work with a planner, a calendar? How does the calendar help you to be able to schedule a lot of things?
It helps me schedule a long thing because it keeps me organized, especially when I'm just feeling like I don't know what to do. I check that calendar, I'll be like, oh, yep, I got that test today. So I'll make sure I got that done.
A lot of times you look at the aspect of time management. How have you been better with that? How have you been able to work with that and improve with your time management? Because that's a big skill now, and that's going to be a big skill in college. So looking at your freshman year to where you're at now, how have you gotten better?
I've gotten better by time managing by, well, I use this tool on my phone. I keep my alarm clocks going off, I keep it, I prioritize things. I put the more important things first before, like, when it comes to games and then playing with my friends, going out doing stuff. I put that last, and I put my priorities, the big things first. School, football, work, put those first. That's how I do that.
Important. You got to prioritize. That's big. That's big. Looking at the fact that you're high school, and you reflect back on the years. You can remember when you first got into that high school and what it was like. What have you learned from your freshman year up to your senior year now? What has been some things that you've really learned about that journey?
What I learned is a lot. I learned, I can't just like put it here and tell you what I learned. I learned a lot. I learned to be humble. I learned to be more respectful. I learned to be, more giving, more loving. I learned a lot.
If there's something you could have changed when you were a freshman, if you had to do it all over again, what would that one thing be?
I would change my attitude. I would change myself to be more humble and not be like, I'm that dude or I'm that guy. Just be like, if you're that guy, just chill out. They'll find out. They'll know.
So I could just probably think of this word, growth, was really big for you from freshman year now to your senior year, and how that is.
Yes, sir. A lot of growth.
The alumni, how do they support Bethel High School? You see some of those alumni come back. They're showing support, the community. How important is that community and the support you receive from the alumni coming back to Bethel and showing their face?
It feels really good, because, they've been there, they've done that, they already went through what we went through. So, it's really good to talk to them and they'd be like, wow, I can't believe that you're doing this. I used to do that. And so it's really helpful. It's really helpful.
Elias Sanders, let's talk media. For example, there's so many media platforms out there. You look at Twitter, Instagram, just a lot. And you have to manage all those. How important do you think it is for a student athlete to manage their social media profiles?
It's very important. Just important as recruiting. You can't be posting wild stuff on that. You can't be just putting what you want on there. You got to be very professional and very appropriate with that, because that's yourself putting out there on social media. You can't be doing that.
Yeah, there's this thing that it used to be that you weren't able to screenshot or screen record. Now you can do that. The phones have the capability to go ahead and do that. And it's tough when you get ready to put a post up. What goes into you doing that? I mean, there's some thought process that goes in there. Is that you have to make sure it's careful, right?
Yes, sir. You have to make sure you're showing this to the right people. Make sure it's very appropriate. Make sure they know what you're saying. It goes into a lot into a post. It's not just a post. It's a way of communication.
And you look at just the fact of how media has been, the technology. People are able to capture a play or capture you after a game and have that time. Is it important for you to try to get that media out there about you and who you are?
Yes, it is, because I put a lot of work into grinding on the off season, grinding on the field, and I want to show everybody, what I've been doing. So it's very important for me to show them what I've been doing.
Talking about a great experience you've been able to be a part of is that Cleats versus Cancer, which is an organization that deals with cancer, with families and people that are dealing with cancer. Obviously, that the founder of that, Coach Derek Sparks, is dealing with pancreatic cancer, stage 4. He's been dealing with that. Let's just talk about being part of that organization. What has that meant for you?
It meant a lot for me, especially when I got invited. It really meant a lot for me. It raised not just awareness, it raised, what's going on. It really helped, I didn't just get a chance to just go out there and grind. I brought awareness to it. I have that shirt actually from Cleats vs. Kent. I have that up on my wall right now. You know, I really respect when I got invited to him. You know, prayers are up for Coach Sparks right now.
Definitely,
Most
definitely. You know, what did you learn from those camps? What, you know, because there was some good coaching there, good teaching there. What did you learn about yourself in those camps?
I learned is that I could push myself a lot harder than I thought. You know, my limit is not where I think my limit is at. It's a lot further.
Did you find yourself where you were tired and you were pushed to the limit? Did it teach you to go that much further for, you know, showing what you can do?
Yes, sir. It really taught me. It taught me when everybody's saying, "Oh, when you're tired and everything, it's mind over matter," and it really is mind over matter. You really have to tell your mind what to do and tell yourself, you know, you're not tired. You're just fine. You push right through that 100%.
What part did the coaches teaching you and different techniques and how you approach the game and your position? What did you learn from the coaches there in those camps?
What I learned from those camps is, you know, they taught me how to get off the ball a lot better. They taught me how to, when you make the good play after what we've been teaching you to do, don't celebrate. You've been there, you've done that. Just walk away. You know, give the ball back to the ref or help the quarterback up when you sack him. You know.
I know I hear this phrase in my head right now. It says, "Act like you've been there before."
Yes, act like you've been there before.
Right. Looking at football for you, you've been able to be a part of 7-on-7 football. What is 7-on-7 football meant to you on improving your playmaker ability, your attitude, how you've been able to approach the game and improve on your skills?
What 7-on-7 meant to me, especially since I'm on the defensive line side of the ball, it helps me be quicker. It helps me keep up with faster guys that are a lot faster than me. So it keeps me up there with them.
Yeah, with the skill guys, it's about reaction, right? You got to be ready.
Yes, sir.
And I think the thing is that any kind of play, and we know with 7-on-7, it's constant. There's no time to regroup or anything. Especially the good 7-on-7 teams. They're quick. Plays are in.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
ready. They're dialed in, and the defense has to react. Could you recall a time of a game that you played in 7-on-7 where you had to make a really big adjustment to that offense?
Yes, there was one time I was with Reggie Jones and his 7-on-7, and instead of me playing linebacker on defense, he put me to wideout, like far wide receiver wideout. I was like, oh, okay. So I had to be quick. I had to be quick off the ball. I had to do routes I wasn't used to, like fades and posts, and actually gonna have to go up there and get that ball. And I sure did do it. You know, I adjusted the adjustments.
Yes, that's very big. What did 7-on-7 teach you though? As a player, as an individual off the field, what was the biggest thing you could take out of 7-on-7 that's very helpful for you?
What I took out of it was, you know, you can adjust to things. You can be an all around player. You know, you can be a great person. That's what it taught me to do. It taught me that you can adjust around. You can be great.
So is that something that what do you recommend for other student athletes with regards to 7-on-7? Because there's some people that don't like it. There's some people don't agree with it, but it was helpful for you. What could you tell other student athletes why 7-on-7 is an important piece to their off-season training?
What I can tell them to do is one, it's a good way to keep your conditioning in. It's a good way for you to, you know, envision yourself just in like a game, but with, you know, other dudes out there and getting your route going on. I just feel like it's a good way for you to have mental reps and keep going.
And of course, Elias Sanders, there are people that you have competed against with other teams. So you get to see those individuals or those ones you've competed against, they're on your team. How crazy is that dynamic? That you're
It's
playing, you know, some of those that you faced, and maybe you're talking smack, and then it gets to a thing of where they're on your team. Take me through that.
You know, it's actually crazy because, you know, sometimes things do get chippy, you know, and when you're out there against someone that used to be a teammate who's now on the other team, it's mind blowing. But, you know, they're on the other side of the ball. They're not your teammate right now.
Well, we're here with Elias Sanders, again, Bethel High School in the state of Washington, GPA 3.3, class of 2022. defensive tackle, defensive end, on the defensive side of the ball. Tell you, we'll be right back.
We're all moving at our own speed. From essential workers to frontline responders to you. Whenever you're ready to get out there, Enterprise is ready too. With our Complete Clean pledge, you'll have the peace of mind that will get you safely on your way, wherever and whenever that may be. Enterprise. When you're ready, we're ready.
Welcome back to Outside the Games. We have here with us Elias Sanders. He's a defensive tackle, defensive end, GPA 3.3, Bethel High School in the state of Washington, class of 2022. His senior year, folks. His senior year. But we're back here. Elias Sanders. Here's the biggest question. Why football? When did you start playing the game? Why did you want to play the game? What is it about that game that you love?
I've been playing football since 9 years old. And you know, what I really love about this game, about football, is that you can get physical. You can really get physical with somebody, you know, especially when they're talking trash on the other side of the ball. You can really get physical with somebody. And I really love the physical aspect of this game. I love, you know, putting somebody on their butt and, you know, letting them know what's up. I really like the physical part. I'm a physical guy.
And with that, could you remember when you look at probably some things in the past where you started playing football, to see and reflect where you're at now? Isn't it just don't you kind of just go, wow, I've come so far? That's got to be something amazing to see.
Yes, sir, it really is. It's mind blowing. I didn't think I was going to continue playing football, but you know, when I got around 10 and 11, I asked myself, you know, this is what you're going to do. And I said, you know what, this is what I want to do. I was like, all right.
You look at football and the aspect of training for football itself. Now we had some tough times, you know, with COVID, and COVID hasn't left. It's the Delta variant now. But when you were dealing with COVID and the training and where they're going to be games, there was so much going on. You saw that other schools were being able to participate, have school, maybe online, but be there in school. There were protocols. It really comes to different states. But Washington, Oregon, California, it was a little bit different for them. There were phases, there were protocols. You had to go Zoom calls, online class. But how did that affect training? There was the training aspect of you being prepared for if there was going to be a season, if there were going to be any games. Take me through that experience of dealing with COVID and training.
Man, it was incredible. When I first got the phone call from my coach saying that, you know, we can't train in person no more, it really hit different. We had to do Zoom workouts and we had to do FaceTime workouts. And that was different. I wasn't used to, you know, working by myself. I used to hearing that energy. I'm used to hearing the noise, the racks, you know, in the weight room. And now it's in my room. It's quiet. I don't like that. I did not like that.
What did you learn about training in that, you know, because I'm thinking Zoom workouts and I'm like going, how is there any, you know, is it kind of like you're watching an instructor do a certain exercise and you're trying to imitate that? And again, and the fact that everybody was kind of just singled off, kind of alone, that had to have been really tough, not being with your teammates together.
Yes, sir. What I learned about it is that it taught me how to be by myself sometimes. It taught me, you know, it brought myself together. It really it really showed me how much I wanted to play this sport, you know, especially when I had to go grind outside by myself and, you know, work out by myself. It really taught me how much I really wanted to play this sport.
Could you say it even got you to soul search to see if this was the sport to play?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it did.
And looking at now you go to the fact that we're training now and we've gotten past the protocols. We're able to be with our teammates. You're able to be in a weight room situation and do some training in person. What are some things that you're working on you, Elias, to get better physically? Because you said you love the physical part of the game. Well, part of the physical part of the game is you got to improve your body. It's got to be able to take the punishment where there's grabs, holds, pushing, tackling, the physicality of that game. What are some things you're doing to improve your body?
What I do to improve, I make sure I eat better. I make sure I work out on a daily basis. I have scheduled workouts that I have to do. I go work out with Coach DQ. He helps me out in there. He knows a lot more about working out than I do. So that's what I do. I try to keep my body in tip-top shape, make sure I'm eating the right things, and make sure it's not just junk, and putting the right things in my body.
Go deeper though, as far as, was there something that you felt that you were weak at that you could improve on? Maybe DQ mentioned a couple things that you said, you know what, you need to improve this and part of your anatomy to get better and stronger, bigger, faster, stronger, of course.
When it came to what I really needed to improve on, it was striking the offensive lineman. I never really knew how to strike an offensive lineman. And, as DQ said, get them knocked back. So what I really worked on with Coach DQ is teaching him how to knock back an offensive lineman, and he really did help. He taught me how to explode through with my hips, and I got a lot more violent with that than I thought I ever get.
So you look at then the technique. There's a technique, there's footwork, there's positioning, where the hands are, your explosiveness. There's a lot that goes into that. What are some things that you could maybe list for you on what things you were trying to do to improve? What were things you were trying to get better at?
What I needed to get better at was my hands. I need to know where to put my hands. I need to know how to work my hands, especially when it comes to offensive linemen. Defeating the hands, it's over for them. They can't do nothing without their hands. So it was really important to get my hands down and make sure I knew what I was doing with that.
What is Elias Sanders' strength? When you talk about the game of football, what are some strengths that you possess that make you a good player?
Some strengths I have to possess is I know how to stop the run. I know how to hold an offensive lineman and push him back and make sure I can get to that running back. I can really stop that.
You looked at your freshman year now to your senior year. Your senior year, there's more on you as a leader. You've had to kind of take that leadership role, because as a senior, you're the class, you're the top class. What has it been for you to embrace that role of leadership? The younger classmen look up to you now. It used to be the other way around. There were ones older than you looked up to. Now you're in that role. How have you tried to improve? And has it been being vocal? Has it been how you present yourself by example? What are some things that you're doing to be a better leader for your team?
What I do to be a better leader is I make sure I'm giving the right things to the freshmen and the sophomores, make sure I'm teaching them how to respect our locker room, respect our coaches, respect our field, make sure them cleaning up after themselves. It's not just about the football, there's off field too. So I got to make sure I'm doing the right thing in the classroom, make sure I'm getting to class on time. Make sure if I see one of them out in the halls, I'm on their butt telling them, come on, we got to get to class. We got a game this week. So that's what I do.
Have you felt that defensive tackle, defensive end, why that position in football?
Well, one, that's possibly one of the most aggressive positions ever. And when you win that battle, it means a lot. It's not just, I caught the ball, I ran a touchdown. You had to get physical to win that battle. When you get physical to win a battle, it means a lot more. That's why I like that position.
I mean, could you say that you have to have a short memory when it comes to that position, because there's always the next play, right? You can't worry about what went wrong. You got to be ready because the motor has to keep running. One thing I know about defensive tackle, defensive end, your motor has to be top notch. It has to go, because if you reflect on what you didn't do right, that ball is snapped, you're going to be lost. Take me through this.
Yes, sir. You have to keep a short memory when it comes to stuff like that. Like, let's just say you get pancaked on the play. It's going to happen. There's going to be times you're going to get pancaked, and you got to get back up and tell yourself, you know what? It is what it is. I got the next play. Shoot, it's only the third quarter. We got a whole nother quarter of this. So you get back up and you make sure you strike them harder the next time. You make sure you get through them. If it's a pass, if it's a run, you look for that ball. So that's what I do. You have to keep that short memory and keep going.
Take me through your team. Now, we're talking the team at Bethel. You talked early about the name change. How important was that to you? Because, I mean, the Bethel Braves have been around for a while. But now we're seeing with a lot of social change, Black Lives Matter, indigenous groups. You're now it's changed. And you saw pro teams change as far as their names and their mascots and what represents their organization. What went into that change and how important was that?
It was a big change. I didn't think they were gonna do that. I think it was just like I thought it was just like a rumor until I saw the NFL change their names, and I saw us. We changed our names. I was like, oh wow, that was a big change, and that hit different. It really did hit different. Hit our coaches different, and we had to just adjust to the adjustment and deal with it.
So instead of being Braves, you're Bears. So
Yes,
does
sir.
that start this year or next year?
That starts actually next year. So the class of 2022 is the last Braves ever.
Wow, that's pretty special.
Yes, sir, it is.
So your teammates, what is your teammates like? What have you learned with your teammates? You as a group, how would you define that group of the Bethel Braves?
I feel like, sometimes there's some goofballs. They play around a lot, but man, when it's crunch time and it's time to actually go into the game, it's a different atmosphere. We're some brothers out there. We're some dogs. We know how to get it together. We know how to get the job done. We don't blame each other on why this and why that. We come together and we find out what's going on. Like, let's just say we're on the line and we find out there's pullers coming. I'd be like, you know what? I'll take the cup, like you go get the tackle. That's how we do it out.
Talk about your team and as far as the different positions. Let's talk about the offense. What have you learned about the offense this season with your quarterback, your running back, your offensive line? What's been really special about that group?
What's really special is that before the group before us, we didn't start and everything like that, and now we're starting everything. So we had a lot of chemistry, and when it comes down to us being on the field, we know how to get it done. It's really good. It really came down to chemistry and how we knew each other and what our favorite routes were. And sometimes when I'm going on a block, my quarterback knows, hey, you're gonna need some help with that. He sends a running back out to go help me. It's really good.
How has the offense improved this season? Because again, we're getting a full season of football this year versus past. So what have you seen from your quarterback play and the offensive line in production?
What I've seen is that we know how to communicate a lot better than we used to. Communication is everything. And when it comes to communicating, he knows how to communicate to his O-line a lot better than I thought he would. So he knows how to tell us, hey, we look for a blitz, and we didn't think it was blitzing, and he sure did blitz, and we sure did pick it up. So, communication was everything when it came to that.
Now we'll speak the defensive side of the ball.
Oh, man.
If I tell you, what's special about that bunch? You're talking about your defensive linemen, your linebackers, the secondary. What makes that group very special?
What makes that group very special is we're not scared of nothing. We have some little dudes on our team, especially when it comes to the secondary, but they aren't scared to put their head in there and go get that play. They are not scared to hit, and that's what I love, because there's some fearless guys out there. I love that.
What has been important? What statement has the defense wanted to make about this season to make an impact in the ball games that you guys play?
We wanted to make that we're not scared of nothing. We're going to be here, and we're going to be ready to hit all game. That's the statement that we wanted to make, and we wanted to shut your offense down and get you guys off the field.
How important is your head coach and the position coaches that have been able to coach you all, and how important is their role in your lives?
Their role is very important in my life, especially when it comes to our new head coach, Coach Dang. He really takes care of me. He's very strict. He's a very strict coach. When it comes to the games and the gimmicks, he doesn't play any of that. But when it's time to go, he really is there for me. He takes care of me. He talks to most of my recruiters. He really does take care of me. I love that coach.
What was different about the previous coach? Because there's sometimes with a coaching change, a lot of players go, okay, what's this going to be like? Take me through that experience when you saw that you had a new coach this season, this year, especially now you have a full schedule.
When that happened, I didn't think that was going to happen. We had our coach. He was there for, I think 28 years, and I didn't think he was going to go anywhere. But when that season hit and he said, I got to go, I was like, oh, man. So it was different. We had to adjust to the adjustments, like I always say. And we had to just get through and deal with it. But, hey, he turned out really great.
a lot of times players in that situation, other student athletes will go, you know what? My coach is leaving after 28 years. I'm not ready for a change. I'm going to go to another school. See a lot of that with a transfer portal. That's bing. It's big. What made you stay? What made you stay, Elias?
What made me stay is that, I can't just leave my teammates like that. I'm not just gonna leave because just, my head coach, he gotta go. I gotta stay there and I gotta help because we were going through a losing season and a lot of people were just leaving us. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna be like them. I gotta stay here. I gotta be better. I gotta be loyal to my team. So that's exactly what I did. I stayed there. No matter what the outcome was gonna be, I was gonna push through that.
That says a lot about your character, for sure. For sure. You look at the film that is presented of each game or your practices. How important is the film? Let's take you, for example. What does the film do for you in order to break down your game, your technique, your footwork, whatever? Don't get me wrong. I'm sure coaches are letting you know, hey, Elias, you see this here? They point things out. What is that time like in the film room and with your coaches?
The time in the film room is very important. They point out every single little thing you're doing wrong. They point out to the point of your stance being you're not close enough to the ball. You're too close to the ball. That's why we had a flag, and to the point where, you need to use your hands a lot better. You need to be more aggressive when it comes to the ball or to the offensive lineman or to the guards. They get details down. And when we put all that together and you get back in the film room next week, it's incredible how much you improve. So film room is very important.
And there's nothing like being in a film session where you see the coach getting all excited on a play. There's just nothing like it because you're around your teammates. They point something out and they say, great job, Elias, or great job defense, right? There's a lot of pride with your defense on how you all perform and to make the coach happy. How important is that for you?
What I do is I like to make my coach happy, especially when I make plays and stuff like that. He's out here instead of, he could be spending time with his family. He's sacrificing time to be here with us. I want to give back what he gave me, which was my time and effort, and his time and his effort. So I'm gonna give that back to him and sacrifice on the field.
For the team at Bethel, what is different from last year to this year? What could you say that you noticed with your teammates, with your coaches, as a collective team? What seems to be different than last year?
Our stability this year is a lot better. We know how to be to practice on time. We know how to not get into fights. We know how to talk things out instead of argue about it. We know how to just smooth it over and get back to the game.
What have you noticed from your teammates and maybe yourself? What sacrifices have you all had to do? And we'll just take you, for example. What sacrifices have you had to display to your team for the betterment of the team? What sacrifices have you done?
I had to sacrifice my free time, instead of me, doing whatever I wanted to do at home, just chilling, helping myself out, watching my film. I had to, get a group chat, get it going on Zoom, let them know, have film, not just with the coaches, but with us as teammates, as ourselves, but without the coach and everything. Team bonding is important.
Now, last year was not a good season.
No.
This season, take me through what this season, how it started, how it's faring. What are you noticing different this time around, and what improvements have been made?
From last season to this season, it started off kind of, not so good. Some people started giving up. Some people started losing hope, but there was something right there when people say, we still got this, and they had that hope. And when we went to the Rogers game and we won that, we got that hope back. We got a whole bunch of energy, and it started rolling on to this week, to our homecoming game, and we blew the team out. We haven't had a blowout game in about 2.5 years. That really put a lot of confidence on our team.
What game on your schedule seems to be the biggest threat, or would you say difficulty on your schedule left?
Graham Kapowski. GK, when it comes to those guys, some of our team, they get intimidated. They don't know what to do when it comes to bigger guys. All Division I guys, they don't know what to do, how to cover them, and sometimes we just fold under pressure.
And part of the team bonding that you do, is that something with the leadership role you've taken to try to encourage those ones to say, hey, look, they may have this, they may have that, but you know what we have? Do you list things out as far as how you can really encourage them?
I do. I try to make sure my team is straight and make sure when we're going into a game, I'd be like, hey, they got this, they got bigger dudes, they got Division I guys, but we got the heart. We got the want to, we got the will, we're gonna do it no matter what happens. So, I hype my team up.
What is the goal that you could say from your coaches to your teammates and everyone? What is the goal for this year for your team?
The goal this year is, we do the right thing the right way all the time. That's what our goal is. And, he got wristbands for that too. So our goal is to do the right thing the right way all the time.
In your position, let's kind of talk about your position that you play. It's a defensive tackle and defensive end. You put on that side of the ball. What are some things that you're trying to do? Let's go into preparation for a team that's coming in this week. As a defense, what are you trying to prepare for?
I'm trying to prepare for how my offensive lineman works. I want to know what he does. I want to know, what is his kick step like? What is his punch like? How does he run block? What does he eat for breakfast? I want to be there to make sure what is this kid doing so I know how to beat him.
And for your position, when you talk about watching the quarterback, watching where, because it's really go where the ball goes and it's pursuit. So, and getting to the quarterback, providing, getting that constant pressure on that quarterback to make a bad decision. Take me through what you're looking for when you look at, hey, that quarterback, how their offenses ran. What are some things that you can have an impact on in that game?
The number one thing I look for when I go into film is their quarterback. I want to see if their quarterback is mobile or not. If he's a mobile quarterback, then, hey, I know I'm going to be running a lot that game. If he's not, then I really focus on the O-line and see how to break them down and do whatever moves I need to get past to get to that quarterback. Since he's going to sit there and be in that pocket, we're going to pay for that,
Have you noticed also, too, that on the field, you become that leader, that vocal leader, that one by example? What are some examples that you can provide for me that have been that way for you?
When it been that way for me, it was a Sumner game. We were all folding under pressure. The score was 35-7. We were losing by a lot. And, some people they were blaming it on us. They were blaming it on, ourselves. And they were blaming it on the other people. And I tried to tell them, bring it back in. We're cool. This game does not define us of who we are. So crunch down. Let's get this game over with, Let's go.
So there's got to be something about, playoffs for you. There's got to be some way of saying, can we get to playoffs? Is that how you all are viewing this year?
Yes, this year we're in a 2016 situation like the Bills where we have to make sure other teams win and for us to get in the playoffs. So, it's a really good year, but we have to win out and we just have to do whatever we got to do.
So it's really the focus is not worrying about what other people are doing. You got to win out all your games and see where you land.
Yes, sir.
What are some things on the defense when you're playing that position? What do you look for in the quarterback when you're on the field? Some tendencies that they do.
What I know is that when some of the receivers aren't open, some of the quarterbacks, they start to panic and they run on the outside. And when they run on the outside and I have to contain, they're in trouble. But when they try to run inside, I chase them down. They probably get around maybe 2 yards, 3 yards. But, I know that they panic a lot.
Does the defensive coach, assistant coach, does he look to try to have it where you drop back? Sometimes there'll be a drop back situation where you're on the line, but then you'll drop back for the pass because you could see they're running something different.
Yes, sir. Sometimes when they like to do slants and quick passes because they know that we're getting a lot of pressure. So they'll do a stunt call. They'll run the D tackle. They'll put them on the outside, put them outside containment. They'll drop the linebacker in the deep coverage and they'll put me in the hook to curl. So I'll have that right there.
And obviously there's tendencies of how the quarterback looks down the field. What are some things you look for in the quarterback there? Because sometimes the way they plant, sometimes they look off of a receiver. I mean, you have to know the tendencies of them and study that, but you're in game time situations. So how do you handle a quarterback like that or pro style versus spread?
So let's just say they dropped me back in the coverage and I got hooked the curl, and all the wide receivers they went up for fades and posts. So I'm sitting there like I'm waiting for him to run. Especially if he's gonna run to my side, he's not getting no yards, So I'm waiting for him to run.
Do you face a lot of teams that have a mixture of spread versus pro style?
Yes, I did. I faced Sumner High School and Graham Kapowsin High School. They do that a lot.
So Elias Sanders, when you talk about the coaches, what have you done to show them that you're that leader and that you are there to help your teammates? And really, what are you doing to really keep that communication with your coaches? What are you showing them that they know that they can trust you?
What I do is, all my coaches, they know that it's no longer football with me. It's no longer, I have to work on, my moves and stuff like that. It's the outside of football. It's my personality. It's my academics. I got to make sure I'm doing the right thing in the classroom. I need to make sure I'm doing the right thing in school to make sure I can be that leader. So every time, I'm not in class or I'm being late to class, they're going to be on me, and keeping communication with them. I got them in my phone, I hit them up. I let them know how's my day going at school. They'll call me and they'll be like, hey, what are you doing in the bathroom so long? Why you late to class? Because they know, they will know.
And there's a lot of opportunities with your coaches in bonding together with the team. Is there something that your defensive coaches have you over? They do special things with you all, group type of things together?
Yeah, so sometimes they'll do a coaches meeting and they'll send the team leaders, they'll put them in the weight room. And when we go to the weight room, it's me, the offensive coordinator, and the special teams leader for each group. We all get them together, we all hit a weight set, and then we go back out to the locker room and we talk out what we just did, let them know, and then they send us home.
Well, I tell you, we've really had a pleasure talking to you, Elias Sanders, getting to know you as a student athlete. Really, when you look at student athlete, that's what you are. You're a student first, then the athlete, and your character is everything. So it was a pleasure to have you on Outside the Games. It was a pleasure to have you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate you inviting me. It was really great, sitting here talking to you. I hope you have a wonderful day,
You as well, but we're not done. We have this thing called the Quick Blitz. We get to know Elias Sanders even better. We start out with favorite food. What's Elias Sanders' favorite food?
My mama's meatloaf. When my mama cooks that meatloaf, I'm telling you, it's good. There ain't nothing coming home from a hard practice or a hard game. You got that meatloaf sitting right there. That is the best thing.
Favorite dessert?
Cheesecake.
Favorite musical artist?
Little Baby.
Apple or Android, and why?
Apple, because I feel like, I don't know. I just really like their phones. I like the upgrades that they do on their phones. I like that they update.
Favorite cleat to wear?
My favorite cleats to wear are Nikes. I love Nikes. I've always worn Nikes since I was a kid.
If you had to choose a destination spot anywhere in the world to travel to, where would that be, Elias?
It would be Nevada. And I would go to Nevada because I like the atmosphere down there. It's not somewhere you can get in trouble. It's somewhere you can just actually chill out. And I have some family down there too, so it's a good chill spot down there.
Favorite casual shoe to wear?
Slides. I wear slides all the time.
If you had to drive a car, any car or SUV that Elias Sanders would be in, what would that car or SUV be?
It'd be a Lamborghini Hurricane. I love those. Those things are quick and they know how to get up and go.
Last movie you just saw?
Last movie I just saw was, what was the last movie I just saw? Spiral, the new Saw movie. It was really good.
Last thing your mom told you?
The last thing my mama told me was, I love you. I'll be back on Sunday morning.
We'll get serious on a couple things. If you were running late somewhere and you had to let somebody know that you were running late, would you call or text, and why?
I would text because I feel like I don't want to interrupt what they're doing. I just want them to, look down real quick and they make sure I'm late. I don't want to interrupt, especially if the ringer's on or something like that. So I'll text them and let them know, hey, I'm running late. I'll be there quick.
Least favorite thing to do if Elias Sanders had to choose one thing, least favorite?
My least favorite thing to do is just sit in the house doing nothing all day. I can't do that. I have to be active. I have to be doing something.
Yeah, let's look at this. You know, the world has changed a lot. Politically, socially, justice, just a lot of different things. If you could have an impact in one thing in the world today, Elias Sanders, what would that one thing be?
Changing people's mindset. You know, I don't want people to be stuck on one way, how they feel about somebody and hold grudges. I want them to change the way they think. That's what I would do.
Okay, I have one last question for you because you are a senior this year and you would know better. Okay? So it's what you would prefer. Here we go.
Okay.
Would you prefer one of your favorite slides with a tear in them? Or would you rather be on Outside the Game show?
I'd rather go bare feet. I'd rather be on Outside the Game show.
We appreciate you very much, Elias Sanders. I tell you, be on the lookout for him. If you haven't been a fan of Elias Sanders, you are now. He is a class of 2022 defensive end tackle. Can be used in a lot of spots on the defensive side of the ball. But GPA 3.3, he's improving that GPA, folks. And then again, Bethel High School in the state of Washington. And he's doing some special things. And they're going to have a good season this year. Pay attention to the Bethel Braves. This is the last season of the Bethel Braves. Next year will be Bethel Bears. But Elias Sanders, pleasure to get to know you. We appreciate you all what you're doing for your school, your family, and also your teammates and the community. We appreciate that very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
This is Shayna Glass, and you've been watching Outside the Games.